It's all still a house.
This is a story called A Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens. In this story, there's a miserly old man called Ebenezer, Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge, who is visited by a ghost of his dead friend. The dead friend's name is Mr. Jacob Marley. Why does he visit? He visits Mr. Scrooge to tell him that he better mend his ways, otherwise, he is going to have a fate as bad as his after death. So, Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge is a very miserly, rude, and uncompassionate person, and he hates the spirit of Christmas. That is the reason why his deceased friend comes to warn him that three other ghosts, the ghost of Christmas present, the ghost of Christmas past, and the ghost of Christmas future, are going to visit him, and he better mend his ways. Otherwise, he is going to have a very, very difficult time after his death.
You do not believe in me.
The ghost of past The ghost of past comes to visit him, and he takes Mr. Scrooge to his past, wherein he sees himself how he had wasted all his life working and working all the time, and how he did not give time to his friends and his family, even to the girl whom he had loved so much. He couldn't marry that girl because he was always busy with his work. Then the ghost of Christmas present takes him to Bob Cratchit's house. Now, who is Bob Cratchit? Bob Cratchit is the clerk who works for Mr. Scrooge. And as you can see, this is Mr. Bob Cratchit's family. They're very poor. They don't have enough to eat. They don't have enough to um, share with each other. And Mr. Scrooge apparently did not give him a leave on Christmas Eve. So Mr. Bob Cratchit is still working till late night when others are celebrating Christmas. And they are just hoping that the father will come with some money, some extra money, so that they can have a better meal than as usual. Bob Cratchit also has a physically challenged child called Tiny Tim. Now, what did he watch? Mr. Scrooge could watch with this ghost of present that Bob Cratchit, although he was a very poor man and very unfortunate, but he was a very happy man, and everyone there shared kindness and compassion towards each other. So he had a very loving family wherein everybody was united and they loved each other so much, although they did not have any money. And that actually changed Mr. Scrooge's heart, and he started feeling what a cruel person he is. After that, he is visited by the ghost of future. And the ghost of future takes him to a place wherein he is able to see his own graveyard, and he is shocked to see his own graveyard. And he also sees that there is no one around in near his graveyard, and he also sees that nobody cares for the person. He when he dies, nobody cares, and nobody is compassionate. Nobody feels sorrow when he dies, and he is left alone in the graveyard just as he was. No respect is shown to his dead body, and that actually threatens his life, and that actually threatens his feelings, and he is feeling terrible that at his death's time there is no one whom he could who would come to his grave and cry for him, and he realized what a bad man he is. So, and then the ghost of future tells him that if you do not mend your ways, if you do not start being kind to others, if you do not start liking the spirit of Christmas, this is how you are going to die, wherein nobody is going to take care of you and nobody is going to feel sorrow when you die. And you will, you will die as a lonely man.
I say, what's today?
Eh?
What's today, my fine fellow?
Today? What Christmas Day?
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it.
So later on, he realizes that those ghosts that he had seen was actually in his dream. It was not for real. Even Marley's ghost was actually a dream. However, this dream transforms him as a person, and he promises to himself that he will, from now on, start liking Christmas. So the next morning, when he wakes up, he sees this little boy, and he asks this boy what day it is, and he says it's Christmas. So he asked this boy to go to the poulterer's shop. So poulterer is the person who sells hens and chicks. So he asked this boy to run and fetch the biggest turkey. In fact, he asked the poulterer man to be fetched, and he says that call the poulterer to my house with the biggest turkey, and then he promises the little boy to give him half a crown if he comes fast. So the boy he runs away to quickly call the poulterer. And here he's making merry. Who do you think he's buying this turkey for? He's asked to buy the biggest turkey. The turkey is for Bob Cratchit's family. And he didn't even want to mention that it's from him who is sending this turkey. So he prepares to welcome the poulterer's man. And when he comes, he writes an envelope. He gives an envelope and writes the address of where this has to be delivered. And the poulterer's man is given a cab where both of them travels, because they have to travel for a long time. So he gives them a cab and royally sends them to Bob Cratchit's house to deliver the turkey. And after that, he is a changed man.
My dear sir, how do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. A Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name. And I fear it may not be pleasant to you. But allow me to ask your pardon.
So here, as you can see, this is the portly gentleman. This portly gentleman had come to Mr. Scrooge just a day or two before to ask for donation. All right, this man wanted some amount to be donated by Mr. Scrooge for the poor orphans. However, Mr. Scrooge declines his offer, declines it, and he sends this rule. So the portly gentleman very rudely out of his house. And he says that I am not here to donate any money. You can go away. But now that he's a changed man, the portly gentleman is surprised that he's wanting to donate a very generous amount. And yes, he's saying that, yes, I want to pay more and I'm going to donate a generous amount. The people on the street are also treated well by Mr. Scrooge now. Earlier, they used to be very scared at this Mr. Scrooge. He doesn't like Christmas carols. He doesn't like people being happy. If he hears laughters and smiles or cheers, then he gets really irritated. But now he's a changed man and he is also singing along with them. Now, where was he going? He was actually going to his nephew's house. His nephew's name is Fred. Okay, and it was the day when Fred had come to his house to invite Mr. Scrooge
Is your master at home?
dinner.
Yes, sir.
But he had very rudely declined
His uncle.
Mr. Fred. He had declined Fred's invitation, and he said that go away, and I don't want to celebrate Christmas. I don't want to be with you people. And he sends him away. But now that he's a transformed man, he wants to be a part of this dinner. So he sheepishly goes inside and sees that it was not only Fred and his wife, but there were other relatives also sitting in the room. And he was happy to see them all. And he very shyly asks Fred if he could be a part of this dinner party. And Fred was very surprised to see it was unexpected that Mr. Scrooge had come to his house. He was not expecting him at all. And he was actually surprised, and he says everybody welcomed him very dearly, and they said, why not? Yes, please come join. And everyone welcomes him, and he becomes a part of the whole family, and he dines along with them, plays games, and he has a very wonderful time with them. He also tells them that next year he's going to host the Christmas party, and everyone is invited. So in the end, he has a lovely time with Fred and his other family members. So that was the Christmas Eve, how he celebrated. Now, in the next morning, Bob Cratchit was supposed to be at the office. Bob Cratchit's time to arrive at office is 9 a.m. And however, today he is late, the day after the Christmas, right? And let's see how Mrs. Scrooge reacts when Bob Cratchit is late to office.
What do you mean by coming here at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am a bit behind on my time.
You are indeed.
So as you can see, he is showing how angry he is because Bob is 16 minutes late and 16 or 18 minutes late, and he wants Bob to come and give the explanation. And Bob says sorry because he was making merry in the house the eve before, and that is why he was not able to find it. And he says that now I'm going to.
I am about to raise your salary.
Bob was actually taken aback when Mr. Scrooge said that, oh, instead of getting angry, he is going to raise his salary. And Mr. Scrooge, in fact, repeats the same thing and tells him that, yes, I'm going to raise your salary. And he also tells that I know that your family is struggling, your family is not rich enough, and you have to support your many children. So I am going to see how I can help you. I will help you, I'll assist you, raise up your family in whatever way possible. But right now, he says, go and get the he asked him to bring the corn crutches. So it's a container which consists of burning coal. So people use it to save themselves from the coal. So he asks him to go and buy a coal burner. And he also tells him that we are going to discuss more of business in the afternoon, and we'll have some smoking bishop, right? Smoking bishop is a kind of wine. He says we're going to have that and we're going to discuss business after that. And right now he also uses the phrase before putting the dot on I. So before putting the dot on the I means before doing anything else, just go and first buy the coal container, the coal burner, and then we're going to discuss. And from that day onwards, Mrs. Scrooge took responsibility of his son, Tiny Tom, who was physically challenged, and Tiny Tom considered him no less than his second father. So that's the story about Christmas Carol in short. If you think that the explanation was good and you found it useful, please consider subscribing my channel. There's a worksheet given in the link. It's a free worksheet, and it is for you to test your own understanding if you have understood the whole story correctly and the characters. If you have any doubts, any questions related to this chapter, please feel free to write it in the comment box.